Okay, this is probably an exercise in futility, but I have a generator. I have a pressure washer of this same model, so I might be able to get some parts off it. I'm just back from Indian Rocks Beach. This is the only thing that I've taken from there. Biggest problem is I don't know what condition this was in before it was completely underwater. This has been completely underwater in salt water. So started to take the plug out, and you'll see most likely it's seized up and it's junk already. All that water is salt water, and it generally wouldn't be full to the top like that. So as you can see, I'm going to take a shot at it though, just as an exercise. I'm going to drain this thing out. I'm actually going to take a hose to it and flush it out. And then I'm going to put some oil in it. I'm going to put some PB blaster in the cylinder and just take this whole thing apart. This is all salt water. It's all salt water. Pull this plug out of here. Nothing else would be interesting to see how fast and how bad salt water can take out one of these things. So I'm just going to turn the whole thing upside down here in a minute, and then just ridiculously I'm going to just soak the whole thing. Well, you can see that it's fouled and stuff. Cleaned up a little bit. So I'm going to turn it upside down, pull the brackets off it, and it's going to be fun. Okay, well, flipped it upside down, turn it back up, and drain out some more. Water poured out of here. So I'll hose this thing out and see what happens. Well, here we go. What's the worst that could happen, huh? And take some Dawn to the grass after we're done here. I guess I should probably pull the plug on the other side, shouldn't I? Yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to take a heat gun to this thing afterwards and heat it up and dry it out. Like you would never do this with something like this, but well, it's been full of salt water, so it's gonna be weird. Well, this is somewhat encouraging. Took a few good pulls, but it's not locked up right now. Well, this is interesting. Just a teeny little bit of water in there, it looks like. Felt dry, look at that. Felt dry for the pump. It's looking good. Well, I pulled some parts off it, and it's sitting out here. Got it full of oil and everything, and came out today, and 2 days later the thing was locked up again. I'm not sure if it was something in the pump. Anyway, I had to loosen the bolts on the bottom of the motor so I could take the full starter off it, and I had to get this piece off so I could get to the flywheel, whatever you call that there. But I managed to get it loosened back up and said, what the heck, I'm sure the ignition's junk, right? Or not. I got spark. It's kind of hard to see, isn't it? But works. So now big deal will be the carburetor. And that's going to be the last thing, except the carburetor. I get the carburetor cleaned out and it flows. We're going to fire this thing up if I get a chance. I may end up heading upstate for more hurricane stuff. And of course, now we got another storm heading this way. Lovely. Anyway, this is still, I was frustrated here about 15 minutes ago, but we're back to looking okay again. I'm not sure what was done, but I sprayed a bunch of WD-40 on everything, which I need to do anyway. Take this all off and spray it up into the pump. Maybe that's what the deal was. I'm thinking maybe it was in the pump. So far so good. We're still cruising. Kind of exciting. Alright, so I'm reassembling this thing. Interesting, I just found the tag. This is from March 2004. So this thing's 20 years old, over 20 years old. Interesting. It took me a little bit to figure out the arrangements of springs and things. And this little guy, wasn't sure I had it right. It was rubbing up against the air box, but I had to bend this lever over. As you can see, that the top has got the linkage to the butterfly, throttle butterfly. The spring goes in the bottom hole over there. You know, I didn't take that idle mixture screw out. I think I'm gonna have to do that. It's just dumb not to. So I put it all back together. I'm gonna do that. I think I've got it all the way it assembles correctly. This tube runs into there, the breather. This is the vacuum that runs the fuel pump. It goes in the bottom of the fuel tank, which mounts right here. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pull that screw out of there and squirt some stuff in there. I'm trying to get away with just squirting the carburetor cleaner through everything and see what happens here. If I can just, I'm gonna take a shot at getting this to run, and then I gotta get to work on some other stuff. Maybe try to get a generator going before this hurricane gets here. Okay, well, I really have no idea what's going to happen here. I put a little bit of gas in it. Choke it. I know the ignition works. I don't have any water hooked up to it. I'm just going to see if it fires. If it fires, I'll shut it down, hook everything else up, and put water to it. I also have a lot of oil in the cylinder, so it's probably going to foul. Let's start with, I'm going to take two hands. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, hold on. Actually, I think it was just a matter of getting fuel into the carburetor, because all right. Well, that's going to need to be run and cleared out, all the oil and everything. Let me go ahead and put the rest of it together. Put some water to it and run that sucker for a little while. Ha! Amazing. Well, here we go. I'd say we got a winner! All right, I'm gonna call that a success. My handle here, as you can see, doesn't seal quite right, but yeah. I always put some fuel injector, fuel conditioner, carburetor cleaner is what I call this. Let them run. That'll clean out all the passages in the carburetor as long as it's getting through, fuel's getting through them. Yes, indeedy. I will also put some Slick 50 in this crankcase. In this case, it's like 20%. So this thing takes, I don't know, if it's a half a quart of oil or something, so I'll dump a little bit of that in there, dump some oil out, dump that in there, and hopefully that'll treat the metal inside it and make it last and keep it from rusting away. I'll probably give this thing a week, and I'll run it again. I always run the gas out of them. It's like in outboards, you want to keep the carburetor, you don't want to keep fuel in there. If you're using it all the time, that's fine, but it usually happens. You will get in the habit of doing that, and then somewhere at the end of whatever season, or you'll use it and you will forget, and you'll leave gas in it, and it'll gum it all up, and you'll have to take the carburetor off it and clean it out and dump the gas because it turns to varnish and all that good stuff. So in this case, unbelievably, I'm impressed. I don't know if it's just my luck holding out or whatever, but the water level was about here. This thing was completely submerged for whatever, 8 hours or 4 hours or whatever it was. The water level was up there, and I started working on it 7 days later. It was locked up a little bit. And as you get it freed up, cleaned out, literally opened it up, flushed out water as you saw, and then I dumped mineral spirits down in there to flush it out, and then oil in everywhere, into the cylinder, into the crankcase. Somehow, still sparks, still runs. So, I got a matching one of these that I put together at a 2. Now I got 2. Not bad. Don't think I'll sell this one. Just for the research, see how long it lasts. It's over 20 years old. Let's see how it goes after all this. I'm going to write somewhere on here the hurricane and when did I get it back running, and just see how long it lasts. Somewhere down the road, if it finally seizes up, I'll make a quick follow-up video and add it to the end of this one. But it's pretty good. As I say, if you like the video, and subscribe. Help me get to where hopefully YouTube will pay me something someday for all this nonsense. Anyway, second Hurricane Milton. One for the history books, be the strongest one in 100 years, right on top of Helene. A lot of people are leaving the beach this time because all their stuff is already junk and out by the street. And if this one hits north of Tampa Bay, it's going to be a major, 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 major disaster. But at least one little pressure washer survived Helene for now. Pray for everybody affected by the hurricanes. The state is getting to be a little dangerous on the coast. All right, until next time.